it really never ceases to amaze me. Honestly, yo, it never ceases. Let me just try to keep it together, dog, because this might be your first impression of me. But as you may can see at my phone, it's 3:51 and it is not PM, it is AM. Because I have been up all of this time just deep diving into something that is just having me in the state of just feeling overwhelmed by this information, bro. And I want to share it. That's why I'm recording. And so I'm going to just try to get to it because it's a lot to unpack. And I'm going to just try to get through it. The reason why I'm making this video is because I wanted to buy a jacket. And this jacket, it required a certain type of powering. It needed a DC power cord or something along those lines to make it charge faster. Other than that, it's going to charge slow. So me, I like to learn, like to know things. So I just started, trying to figure out, what do I need? What is this DC charger? What is this app? What is it? What is all of this? Because I don't know any of it. So as I'm learning more and more about all these things, it got me to, now at this point, I'm learning so much that now it's not even about the jacket anymore. Now I'm pretty much diving into electricity and I'm learning about DC, direct current, and AC, right? And so I'm trying to understand, right? Why is it that with DC, it seems that things can power quicker and faster? And they tell me, maybe that's a misconception. I'm not understanding voltage and voltage, but it just seems to me I'm just under this impression that when we have a direct flow of current, that it makes things charge quicker. And all that I'm hearing from AI is that, well, no, AC is better because it is better for the grid. It's better for the grid. It can help things to transmit over long distances for long periods of time. And long story short, what I believe is that this is a bunch of hogwash. Because when you look into AC and you see that it's this thing that, in my opinion, it disrupts the direct flow of currents. It makes it go into its own thing. It stalls it. It goes in waves and patterns and all type of things. But my point is that God created electricity. He created the electrons that we see when lightning strikes or whatever, or when electricity, whatever. You feel me? It's electrons, and those are God. That's not a man-made particle. So by all means, electricity is always a direct current. If anything, is directly given by God Himself. But besides that metaphysical point, it is a literal flow of electrons. So I'm just like, it just seems like this grid was created because the grid is man-made, but it was created to disperse energy, to disperse electricity and make us pay for it. Make us pay more for it than what we have to. Because if we had direct current, which I guess they say we all have it, right? Everything is powered with direct current. But our houses all give AC. There's no DC in our house. You can't just you use a wall plug to convert your AC to DC to charge things. But you don't just have DC just directly in your house. Because if you did, then it wouldn't take 2 and 3 and 4 or 5 hours to charge your phone, and then your electricity bill wouldn't be sky high, and they wouldn't make money off all your electricity consumption because you don't have the direct source. And so that's what made me just do all this. And then look what I found here. Look at this here. How profit drove grid development. Because I'm sitting here talking with AI and it just kept, because I debated it. I told him I want to have a debate with you, AI, because I believe that you're sitting here gaslighting it, you're hiding it, you're trying to defend what I feel like I can see very clearly, which is greedy corporations not allowing us full access to things so that they can have some money off of it. And then I see this war here that I'll read for you. Um, how profit drove grid development. The war of the currents. Yeah, the currency. Who's going to uh, get on top as the big dog? And it seemed like Nikola Tesla wanted to come off top like the big dog, and that's probably why he got unalived, because they did him like they do all the rap artists. And once you become big, like NBA YoungBoy, then you start making weird quotes like, "My life's so perfect, I can just die, I can just unalive right now. I can just, giving subtle clues that, he might be the next on the chopping block so he can be quote unquote immortalized, and people, the record labels at least, can make millions off his albums and off of his memorabilia and off of his merch, like they did Juice World and like they did everybody else, and like they did Nikola Tesla. Unalived him, took all his electricity stuff like they did Kevin Samuels, and run off with your idea and make money off of it. But Thomas Edison seemed like he was trying to do something right, giving people direct current straight to you, for you, by us. We paying for it. But they decided, no, we going Nikola Tesla route, AC, and let them pay. We not paying for it. We gonna go the cheap route and make them pay for it. But anyway, they say the war of the currents, the competition between Thomas Edison, DC, and George Westinghouse. Kind of sound like George Washington. But anyway, George Westinghouse and Nikola Tesla. And the AC. All right, so I guess, I don't know, maybe George was with him, with Thomas. But anyways, in the late 19th century, it was fundamentally a business battle. Of course it was business, because it has to do with money. It has to do with giving people stuff that God has given us for free, like electricity. As far as electrons, those are free. Ultimately, AC won because its ability to transform voltage for long distance transmission was more efficient and cheaper to build out on a large scale. See, my thing is not necessarily about the efficiency, but okay, well, yeah, maybe the efficiency, but my thing is that they just keep emphasizing how cheaper it was. But just because something cheaper doesn't mean that it's better, especially for consumers long term. Just like clone meats and GMO. Yes, it might satisfy our need for instant gratification, because we can walk into the grocery store and always see our favorite fruits and vegetables on sale, or have a fruit without seeds and eat it more conveniently. But that doesn't mean that during the long term that it is good for us. It might actually present health problems, that have come from these things that we're consuming. So just my point is that cheaper is not always better. And I feel like the only reason why AC won is because it was cheaper and affordable for them. And they knew that because it's a business, you want to go cheaper and then sell it high. And that's all they did. They set up this cheap infrastructure and they sold it premium, because we need things. Or do we? Because they created things like toasters and all this type of stuff so that we can consume electricity. But of course, the electricity that we're going to consume ain't going to be direct source, giving it to us quick, fast, direct flow of electrons. It's going to be dispersed slowly over time, just enough for that monthly electric bill to come rolling around, or every 3 months, or however it is for people, and how they got it set up. Monopoly model to stabilize the industry and guarantee a return on investment. See, it's all about the money. for building the expensive infrastructure. Utilities sought and were granted monopoly status by state governments. Wow, what a life. I bet they were given monopoly status. Wow. And given by the state governments. Yep, go ahead, take it over so no one else can ever have anything like this built. We don't want anyone ever coming up with any other type of infrastructures. They can create all type of new shoes, and they can create new T-shirts and new websites. They can create any and everything, new apps, but they'll never be able to recreate what we've done. They'll never be able to change the model of this industry, which you might as well say is a $1 trillion industry. I bet. Monopolized model to stabilize the industry and guarantee a return on investment for building expensive infrastructures. Utilities sought and were granted monopoly status by state governments. This expanded to more customers to increase profits, a cycle that led to lower power prices and higher demand. Return on investment. Today, private equity firms view utilities as valuable long-term investment with returns tied to capital investments in infrastructure. I bet you it is, because they know that this infrastructure is faulty, that they're not giving us everything that we could be getting, and they're giving us a little bit of it, and they gave us a bunch of conditioning to understand and accept this way of living. It's sad, man. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Because I think that's probably why solar was such a big thing, because for so long we got our energy from the government, from these infrastructures. But then here comes solar, bringing back that old ancient idea that we can get our electricity from God and not from man, using solar, using technology to absorb the sunlight, because man has monopolized the industry, monopolized God's beautiful electrons to the point where now we got to get it from the sunlight. We can't even get it from the electrons. And I don't even know how it's powered. Maybe it is electrons powering it. But my point is, we got to get it from the sun. We can't get it from the electricity, direct current flowing. We have to get it cut off by AC. And I'm not perfect. I could be wrong in some of these things. I'm not saying it's absolute fact, as in biblical canon fact. But just how I'm looking at it, and just right now, it making sense to me. And maybe it's because it's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's making sense to my sleepy brain or something. But honestly, I don't feel that sleepy, even though it is 4 in the morning and I sound tired. I kind of feel mentally invigorized because I'm investigating things, and I like doing this. But I want it to make sense. I don't want to just go down rabbit holes that lead to nothing. But I don't think that this is leading to nothing. I think that this is on the right track. I think I probably got some things off a little bit, but that's okay because I'll figure more out. But this is where I'm at right now. And where I'm at right now with it is, I believe that back in those days, in the 1800s, 1900s, whatever, they seen an opportunity to make money off of giving people power, electricity. And they had a choice. They said, well, we can give people, a whole bunch of electricity and they won't need a lot of it, or we can give them a little bit of it and they're going to need a lot of it. And if we're looking to make money, then it makes more sense to give them a little bit so we can make a lot. And they said, okay, Nikola Tesla, we like it. We're running off with this idea. We're creating this infrastructure. We're going to pay for it. And we're going to make them pay 10 times what we paid for it. And I don't think that's right. I feel like we should just have direct electricity. You know, direct electricity. Just give it to us. Don't AC it. Just let the current let the electrons flow, bro. You know. So let me try something real quick. Let me do something real quick. I want to ask AI something, and I'm going to come right back. Okay, so check this out. But before I get lost, I think this is a partial collider. You know, those little things they got in HARP or CERN, the partial collider. You guys know what I'm talking about? But check this out, guys. This is so great, bro. Oh, man. All right, so I asked it a question. I told you I was going to ask it a question. So I asked, DC gives direct currents of electrons. Why doesn't AC? And then it was telling me, obviously, because of the circuit. So it all has to do with the circuit. The circuit is the one that dictates how the electricity is going to flow. Okay, so I think that's probably where I was getting a little misunderstanding at. So electricity just flows, right? I guess I'm assumingly. But what these circuits do is they direct the flow of the electricity. And if that's the case, even still, we have in our houses sources of electricity, but they're not DC, they're AC. They're still AC circuits, they're not DC circuits. So I guess to say it more correctly, we should be having more DC circuits to charge things more quickly instead of AC circuits. But anyways, the movement of electricity. But anyway, so anyways, it went to talking about circuit. So so then I asked, what is a circuit? Because that's where we have to get down to. Make sure this is recording. Yeah. All right. So it says electrical circuit is a complete closed path or loop, like the Hadron collider. It's a loop that allows electricity current, the flow of electrons. So a particle collider is just particles in this loop spinning really, really fast till they collide into each other and cause something to happen. But this circuit is almost like that because it's a closed loop. And I guess instead of the electrons crashing into each other, it just continuously loop or flow. And then now you have power. So electricity creates power. And electricity is nothing but the flow of electrons. But man, seeing the flow of electrons, created a device, a circuit, to essentially control the flow of the electrons in order for it to be able to power things. But before, like, what would be the need? What would man need to power? Man would not need to power anything. Cause I'm just be thinking like, who found this out? Who found out? I mean, I know I'm not talking about from a worldly point of view because, of course, they'll lie about history and say it was this person. But like what? Who? Like, first of all, who can even get an electron? You know what I'm saying? Like, who got some electrons? You know what I'm saying? Like, to even dibble and dabble with the electrons. But either way, they got the electrons, and they say, well, we can make power out of this. We can use this as a source of power. Science is amazing, ain't it? All right, I guess I'm not going to dig too deep into that, but key components. All circuits, whether simple or complex, generally consist of three basic components. Power source. This provides the energy or voltage that forces the current to flow. Examples: batteries, DC, or wall. And that's even crazy because the batteries are DC. Wow. The batteries are DC. The things that give you the direct current are stored in these little capsules that you got to keep on going buying. They are hilarious, dog, because they know all electricity is direct current, man. That's why when you put it in a battery, it can't just come out like little spurts. It's coming out direct, the direct. All the battery, all the power that's in it is getting dispersed at once. You know what I'm saying? Your device might not consume all of the power that's in the battery at once, but it's giving it all at once. These wall outlets, man, they're not giving us all the power, bro. I'm telling you. Closed circuit. The loop is complete. Current can flow continuously and the device is powered on. Open circuit. There is a break or gap in the path. Yeah. Short circuit. There is an unattended low resistance. Yeah. All right. Hold up. Now check this out because I want to go through this all together. I haven't read it yet. I literally just put this and we're going to read what they said. But this is what I said. I said, so hypothetically speaking, if every outlet in the house were powered, I mean, in the house only provided DC, would our devices and home appliances perform and charge quicker and better? And also in this hypothetical situation, if all houses were powered by DC only and AC was banned because it was because in this hypothetical situation, it was a new infrastructure created and they were not worried about cost and how it would be, and they were not worried about if it could travel over long distances. They only focused on providing people with the best form of electricity, which in this hypothetical situation, the people voted and said that they believe having access to direct current at all time is the best form of electricity. All right. In your hypothetical situation, in your hypothetical scenario where calls, long distance transmission issues, and existing infrastructure are removed and a new all DC infrastructure is built, your hypothesis is largely correct. Most devices will perform and charge more efficiently and possibly quicker. Improved efficiency and performance. It's literally telling us, yo, that if, dog, come on, I know I'm not crazy, yo. Estimated conversion losses. Nearly all modern electricity and multiple LED devices and some HV systems run eternally on. Yo, it's literally telling us that all our devices pretty much literally already run on DC. But the problem is they're only giving us AC. In our current AC world, a power supply or a wall outlet is needed. And don't we always have to keep paying for the wall pieces? How many times we didn't kept buying wall pieces, yo? How many times? And this is the reason why, because we need a wall piece to convert it over to AC from DC. We need a wall piece. That's what your wall piece does. It converts the DC to AC to charge your thing slowly so you can pay more. Now watch this. Hold on. This is crazy. May God get the glory forever and ever. Now watch this. Y'all. I hope somebody watches this, yo. Cause God is so good, dog. Now watch this. Oh my God. Now I'm gonna do it the same way I just did it. I'm gonna read it and we're gonna go through it together. But I got just a glimpse, and this is what the glimpse I got, and this is how I know I'm not crazy. Now watch this. Okay. So in this hypothetical situation, given that the infrastructure is already built, no one is taking into account how much it will cost to make it because it already exists, and everybody, as we have said previously, is satisfied with having direct source of power. And as you have mentioned, this will make devices charge quicker and perform better. So under these circumstances, in this new world that we live in, where DC is the rule, within would that then make everyone's electricity bill go down because they're not consuming as much electricity? Will that make everyone's electricity bill go down compared to everyone who had AC electricity, not given that the AC infrastructure costs and all that? We're just looking at electricity bill, which bill will cost more, the one who uses only AC power or the one who only uses DC power. Because this was my essential initial debate with AI, but they wouldn't have it with me, and I believe that's because they are AI is programmed, and it has gaslight in its DNA. I know I'm sounding a radical because a mumble jumble because I'm trying to. I have a lot of information in my brain and I'm trying to process it, and I can't verbalize it all at once. So I'm sorry if I sound sporadic, but obviously based on all of my train of thoughts and what I'm feeding AI, I'm not as crazy as I may be sounding. So please bear with me. But I believe that AI is just, it's not all the way good. It's just built to gaslight. It's built to hide the evils of the world. It doesn't want us to really know all the truth, but it will give you all the truth, but you have to word it in a such a way. And that's why it's so long and lengthy, because you have to use AI in a certain way in order to get it to act right. So it says in this specific hypothetical situation where a full DC infrastructure already existed, because remember, they said that it didn't exist because it would cost too much money. Back then they said it would cost too much money, and plus they felt like it would help, it travel over long distances, which I believe is gaslighting. That doesn't matter. They just use that to save face as to why they're not doing DC, in my opinion. But anyways, it says that here's a breakdown of why. The electricity. I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. Hold on. The electricity bill for the houses, um, using DC only power would almost certainly be lower than the bill for a comparable house using only AC power. Is that not enough? We all our houses use AC power. And if it wasn't this way, if they wasn't restricting the flow of God's free flowing electrons, oh God. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You see, there's a time and place for everything. So this probably isn't the best time to do this, but um I'm just going to try to get through this. The DC House bill is lower. The core reason the DC House bill is lower comes down to energy efficiency. That was my point. This was my whole point. Was my whole theory of this whole video, that energy efficiency, that's what prompted this all. That it makes more sense, because even with my jacket, that's what made me down this journey. Because I'm like, how long will it take to charge my jacket? Oh, they like, yeah, with what you got, oh, 4, 8 hours. I'm like, yo, what? I'm like, ain't a way to charge it faster. Oh yeah, if you charge it with DC, if you charge it with a DC applicator or adapter, then a DC adapter, then it would be done in 2 hours. I'm like, what? So that's what led me down this whole thing, because I'm like, if that's the case, then why doesn't everything just use DC and charge it so much quicker? Oh no, because AC. Then they try to just gaslight me on all this crap of how AC and we need AC and they. No, 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 no. It's this infrastructure. They go back to the infrastructure. Well, the whole infrastructure, yeah, well, now we see the infrastructure was given by the governments to have monopoly. Hey, monopolize everything. Yep, take over everything. Now you got all these utility companies that are just almost like a permanent stain on this earth, sitting here giving out this AC when they could be giving us DC and making things more efficient. Why they keep pushing, oh, go get electric cars, do this, do everything, be more efficient. Man, these people are crooks. All right, so the core really bad. That's wasted electricity, higher overall efficiency, direct source to load, allegory. Now watch this. Now watch this. So you guys know how I do. As I ask, I'm gonna show you. So I say, so why doesn't the world use DC? Why are we using AC if DC, according to you, in this hypothetical situation, is so much better? And this is what they have to say. Let's see what they got to say. We use AC instead of DC for the primary power grid because in the real world, outside of your hypothetical situation where cost and distance are not factors, the engineering and, and economic advantages of AC for large scale power distribution are overwhelming. So basically, they're saying because it's too expensive. Now, watch this. So then I asked, so basically, I said, so are you basically saying that outside of my hypothetical situation and in your real world situation, the reason why AC is the rule of thumb, I'm sorry, the reason why AC, the one that you said is less efficient than DC, is the rule of thumb is because it's cheaper. Yes. Outside of your hypothetical situation, primarily the reason. Now, watch this. There's a reason why I'm doing this. Now, watch this. So we're going to see what they got to say. So they gaslighting. See, when they say that is hold on. Maybe not. Hold on. So this is what I said. I said, so you're telling me that AC is a better choice because it is cheaper in the short run or the short term, meaning to start it up, to start the grid, to start the infrastructure is cheaper initially to do so. But in the end, according to you, with the DC comparison in my hypothetical situation, it would ultimately cost consumers more money and it will ultimately, in the long run, consume more electricity and, if anything, be a pollutant to this earth. And it says that is an accurate summary. Wow, of the trade offs between the two systems, reflecting the complex balance of the economy and the environmental factor. Here's a real world, here's a breakdown of your conclusion. AC is cheaper in the short term startup costs. Yes, the initial infrastructure built out of a wide area AC grill was hysterically cheaper than a comparable ADC. AC costs consumers more in the long term. Yes, you are correct in the context. Higher bills, greater overall consumption. AC is a polluter. Yes. Like, yo, like, dog, carbon footprint. So their whole premise is now, bear in mind, though, this is America. Bear in mind that the Federal Reserve banking system is not a government agency. Bear in mind, our mother country, right? Britain, England, all this, right? Bear in mind all these other families that have funded whole countries, gotten them out of debt, wiped their whole debt away, the whole country's debt. Now they're telling us, now they're sitting here telling us that they did not have enough money, that it will cost too much money. They didn't even say that they didn't have enough money. They said it will cost too much money for them to make a DC infrastructure and grid. They would much rather have an AC infrastructure and grid because it's cheaper. In the short term, though, they're not looking at long term, how it will benefit the people long term. They're looking at them in their pockets. We want a quick startup and we're going to make them pay so much in the end. Y'all, I'm done. I'm over. This is oh my God. Okay. This is what I would advise. Stay away from AC as much as you can. Go DC. Save you some money. Don't pollute the earth. Nikola Tesla, shame on you.